Adam with the blues.
Have a seat. Woo! Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you kids, you guys can sit right over here or just be nearby. You can sit here. It's all good. Yeah. Okay.
For our Torah service today, we'll be reading from Deuteronomy, starting in chapter 29. And I'd like to invite up Adam and Tabitha to offer us words of interpretation, a framework to understand this Torah portion, and to help us frame both our conversation and our work here together today. Please.
So Adam and I call our kids friends. Friends, it's time for dinner. Friends, it's time for bed. It's both a play on the power dynamic and also a belief that we are friends. We are in this family, this world, this communal experience together.
Kolot's theme for the high holidays, Ben Adam Lechavereh, comes from the Mishnah, the foundational rabbinic text from the 3rd century. The rabbis in the Mishnah Yoma explore two types of contrasting transgressions: Ben Adam leMakom, between a person and God, and transgressions Ben Adam leChavereh, literally translated as between a person and their friend. The Mishnah says that you are on Yom Kippur, you are forgiven Ben Adam leMakom, between yourself and God. But between Ben Adam leChavereh on Yom Kippur requires the other person. From the Kolot literature for the high holidays, the rabbis prioritize the responsibilities between people as an obligation to listen and tend to the impacts we have on each other. Our call is to show up with solidarity and accountability to one another and to put that work at the forefront of our search for connection.
In essence, the call is to show up for humanity as much as, if not even more than we do for God.
Showing up for humanity, for friends, means working through a necessary aspect of relationships, finding a path to repair when we cause harm. In our house, half of the time our kids naturally find ways to play together, while the other half, they don't. Especially when it comes to Legos. They need some encouragement from us. That may look like one of us saying, it's too early on a Sunday morning for you all to be wilding out like this. Or it may mean that we take our anti-racist parenting, anti-racist parenting educators, we practice what we preach in our own home. We go over our repair process, recognize, validate, rectify.
We help them recognize that harm has taken place. We say, do you know why your sibling is upset? Or can you identify what is making you upset right now? After that, we validate the other's feelings through empathy and active listening. Finally, we explore ways to rectify or repair the situation. We ask, what is your unmet need? Is there a different way that we can address this? Our little family of 4 is a small community, a microcosm of communities around the world. Conflict is a common, essential part of life, but how the conflict is handled can lead to more hurt, or it can lead to healing. Yes, in our scenario, this is often just over whose toys are whose, and yes, sometimes our attempt at conflict resolution is just us saying, stop, or you know better than to act like that. But sometimes we realize that we too need to set up the circumstances to help mend what was broken. Like the Japanese art of kintsugi, or mending broken pottery with gold to recognize and appreciate the broken parts, we attempt to see conflict as an opportunity to examine what needs to be repaired and rebuilt or reimagined. It feels somewhat disorienting in the midst of a country where fascism has taken hold to allow ourselves the privilege of escaping for a bit for the high holidays, to be in a cocoon of community and love. But we build the strength to do the work ahead, to keep fighting by leaning on each other. And we can do this without building a fortress that divorces us from reality. And parts of gaining strength from community is being in right relationship with each other, which includes making space for conflict, recognition of harm, validation of feelings, repair, and ultimately reconnection.
But what happens when we and our friends, our chaverim, do harm to others? How can we repair relationships when we can't get past the stages of recognizing and validating? Today's Torah reading, taken from Parshat Nitzavim, says, "Velo etchem levarachem anochi koret et habrit hazot ve'et ha'ela hazot." I do not make this commandment with you alone, but with those who are standing here with us this day before God, ve'et asher eineno po imanu hayom, and with those who are not with us here this day. The Torah reminds us that repentance and teshuvah are not only for us as individuals, but for everyone as a collective. Today,